let's see how we get on. Stream chat. Oh, very good. Right then, let's see how this goes. Let's hope that fan keeps the camera cool. That will be ideal because that will help immensely. So the stream is up and running, and yeah, let's hopefully this works. Hopefully the technology is working now and we can progress. So do feel free to ask any questions. That's what I'm here for. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. It's been a busy day today, a productive day. So just a few more things to do to the end of the day, and then we shall be calling it a night. So make the most of your time. Ask a question, ask away, and I will do my best to answer it. If you really want to ask a question, then you can where is it? Oh, if I do that, then we can so on YouTube it's over there, on TikTok it's about there, where you can see the website link, mellowfinancial.co.uk, where you can book in a call and have a one-to-one chat with either myself or Joe. It's all there for you to be able to book in, and we will help you out. So don't be shy. Ask away. I can also see if there's anyone on the website as well. So no live visitors there. But yeah, just got to wait for some questions to come in for me to answer. Do you do guitar lessons? No, I don't. Beware, this man got me declined. Do not trust anything he says. Okay, Gareth, what's your problem? Don't know who on earth you are. Failed his CMAP 6 times. Is that right, Gareth? That's not true. You're mixing me up with someone else. Jay Selbs, I haven't got a clue who Gareth is. And Gareth is making false claims there. Haven't got a clue who Gareth is. So Jay, feel free to book away. But as to Gareth, crikey, who knows who he is? We shall never know. I don't know who you are, Gareth. I've split with my husband. How do I move him from the mortgage? So you will need to ring your existing lender and speak to them about it. Now, the risk in doing so is that you need to be able to afford that mortgage on your own, unless you're putting someone else on there, and they will need to be assessed. But yeah, the best port of call would be to contact your existing lender. Is it a good idea to buy a council house? Well, in theory, you might well get a discount, so a right to buy. And of course, if you get a discount, then that can be classed as your deposit. So yeah, it can be a good idea to buy a council house. Certainly, if you've lived there long enough, you will get a decent discount. And the good thing is you haven't got to put down any cash out of your own pocket for the deposit in most cases. So certainly, check it out. I have a job and then I leave after getting a mortgage. Would I need to let them know? No, as long as you keep up the repayments, then that's all right. They'll obviously get concerned if you miss the payments. My statement of account is not up to 3 months, and I already have my savings off at MMP. Can I go start? Your statement of account. What statement of account is that we're related to? How much loan can you get if you deposit 45k and earn 60? So it's nothing to do with your deposit. It's to do with multiples of your income. So 60k times that by 4.5, and that's roughly what you can borrow. Now, of course, there's we've got to avoid any assumptions or without checking it in further detail. That's what it'd be. Best interest rate for 9% loan to value in 5 years. I don't give that information on a TikTok live because I don't know your circumstances, and therefore I could tell you a rate, and it could be totally unsuitable for you. Good evening. I currently have a mortgage, but I'm 3 years into an IVA. How will this affect my renewal? Quite a lot, to be honest. It will very much scupper any possibility of being able to move that or remortgage to a new lender. So it would appear that your potential only option would be a product transfer, the existing lender, or selling, moving on. Are 5% mortgage viable, or do lenders stay clear of it? There's plenty of lenders that offer 5% deposit mortgages, so 90% loan to value mortgages. There's plenty out there. I just need to make a note of a username. 1 second. Where's my pen? Where's my pen gone? There it is. Right, sorry, just had to note something down there. How many months' pay slips would my husband need? He is employed and self-employed. Well, in his employment, he needs 3 months' pay slips. Self-employed, you need at least 1 year's accounts and tax returns filed, ideally 2. If a lender declines the application, will they give the broker a reason if it's a brief reason? Potentially. However, in some instances, they wouldn't. Particularly if it's anything to do with fraud or money laundering, then they may well just keep it out. You got WhatsApp? I have, yes. But if you want to book in a call, the best thing to do is go through the website up there, mellowfinancial.co.uk, and you can book in a call there. Is interest rate for 90% loan to value going down? In some instances, yes. Some lenders are reducing those rates. In fact, let me just, have I closed that down or not? Let me get the Nationwide email up to see what they are, because they are going down tomorrow. And yeah, they are reducing. They're reducing 90 and 95%. If you have started a mortgage and you have 20 years and 2 years fixed term, can you sell your house? You can do, but you will probably have to pay the early repayment charges. Can you consolidate 33 buy-to-let mortgages into one with one payment? Consolidate 33 buy-to-lets into one repayment? As in like a mass mortgage. Potentially we have to find a lender to do it. Can my partner's name be on the mortgage if he's newly self-employed and they only use my income? Yes, but he will be down as a dependent though, because he's not able to prove his income, and therefore it might affect your affordability. My statement account where I keep my 10% deposit, but it's not up to 3 months because I just opened it. Okay, so where did the money come from that you put into your savings account? Generally speaking, 75 loan to value considered okay. 5%. 95% is considered okay. It's fine. You know, lenders will assess it. Is there a mortgage for over 60 that is interest only that you actually don't own the property? Well, when you say don't own the property, you will be on the deeds of the property, so therefore you will own it. Is a new build better to buy? It's personal preference, really. It came from my other bank account from Metro. So you must have statements from Metro or be able to contact Metro and get those statements. Is it possible to get a mortgage with a default? Yes, it is. It is possible to get a mortgage with a default. Let me just move that down there. Let me put that there. Is it best to sell to debt consolidate and start over? You don't have to sell to consolidate debt. You can remortgage and consolidate debt. It's something that is certainly possible. If you don't pay your mortgage, how long will it take to repossess your property straight away? Moved in last month, want to sell already and go home. How screwed am I myself? Depends what type of product you're on. If you're in a 5-year fixed term deal, it's going to cost you quite a bit to come out of that. So, yeah, you're kind of stuck unless you pay a financial penalty. NatWest is at 4.68 at the moment for loan to value. Could we see better interest rate than that? 4.68. Is that a 2-year fixed or a 5-year fixed? Because Nationwide are going to be doing 4.59 tomorrow on a 5-year. Good evening. My fixed term is due at the end of December. Shall I start looking now? Yes, you should. What do you think about remortgaging to pay off a small amount of personal debt? So that is debt consolidation. It's possible. We can do it. There are regulatory things we have to abide by. But yeah, it's certainly possible. It has to be assessed and it has to be feasible. But yeah, it can be done. Is it hard to get a mortgage with a new job and a new contract? Not necessarily. If you're on a permanent contract, there are lenders who will lend on a signed employment contract. Best lenders, first-time buyers in UK. Very much depends on your circumstances. The best lender is the best lender for your situation and your circumstances only. Do lenders favour some professions over? Yes, so there are some lenders who have what they call professional mortgages, which are for things like chartered accountants, doctors, that kind of thing, where they offer increased multiples of income. So, yeah, not giving many answers. Sorry, Ben. Feel free to scroll on. How long have you been mortgage broker? 4 or 5 years? I want to sell a month in. It's 2-year fixed and 81%. Okay, so you'll still have an early repayment charge, I imagine. So I'd suggest getting your paperwork out and have a look at what the penalty would be. Can you get a mortgage of 5% deposit for first-time buyer? Absolutely, yes. Yes, you can. You will generally need quite a good credit file for that. But yeah, you should be all right. What's your prediction on the Bank of England base rate changing next month? I don't think it will, because since they changed it last time, inflation has gone up a little bit. So I think they'll just sit tight for this one, because they've done their reduction, so to kind of calm people down. But yeah, I think they'll keep it. Does interest harm societies and countries? Whatever. Can you be accepted for a mortgage if you have any defaults? Yes, you can. So what we do is we look at your credit file, look at what's on there, so the defaults, look at how much they're for, are they satisfied, unsatisfied, how long ago they were, and then match you with a suitable lender. 4.595 years, can I use that for new builds? I don't know, depends who the lender is, depends what the product is. They'll skip this one. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. I think that as well. Is previous low credit score going to be a big problem buying a house? We're not interested in credit score. It's the content of your credit file that I'm interested in. Credit scores are relevant. The fact they say, previous low credit score, that's how meaningless it is, because you could have a credit score of, 6 1 year and then 999 the next. Obviously, that's quite extreme. But no, it's just the content of your credit file that's more important. How would I be able to contact you? If you go to through the website up there, Mellow Financial, there's a link there. We can book in a call. Either do it through the website, Mellow Financial, or there's a link in my TikTok bio. Would I be okay releasing equity when remortgaging to pay an extension of a lease? Potentially, as long as you've got the equity there in the property and you're able to afford it. Credit score yo-yos a lot. Exactly. So your credit score is only a snapshot of the general health of your credit file at that point in time. Someone could have loads of loans, for example, and have a 999 credit score. But when we look at their credit file, we see, right, they got loan there, credit card there, loan there, still paying them. And therefore that affects their affordability. So, yeah, self-build mortgages. Yeah, you can get them. There's different types, whether they pay out in advance or in arrears. Normally about 80% loan to value they'll do, so you'll need 20% deposit. Will 2 CCJs affect a new mortgage if I have equity of approximately 178 to put down on, say, a 500k home? Again, it depends on the situation with the CCJs. Are they satisfied or not? How long ago were they? Get a check my file report and all the details will be on there that then you can share with your broker. How do banks treat cars and salary sacrifice? Lower earnings, or is it liability? So, you don't own the car. So your employer leases the car on your behalf, so it's not in your name. So if you leave, that's it, fine. So it's not committed expenditure for you. What it does affect, though, is your net take-home pay on your pay slip. So therefore, the borrowing will be slightly reduced. How long does a mortgage process take? From what point to what point? From like initial call to getting a full mortgage offer can be done in a week, but that's reliant on quite a few things, such as speed of you getting your documents to me, your availability to have a chat about fact finding and different types of mortgage, all that kind of thing. So it really varies. So would that having a lot of credit on a credit file affect remortgaging just the higher rate? It will affect how much you can borrow. If you've got a lot of committed expenditure, such as loans, credit cards, cars on finance, that kind of thing, it will affect how much you can borrow. Is it best to fix 2 or 5 years? I can't tell you that on TikTok, I'm afraid. I need to know your full circumstances. If you would like to speak to me, then feel free to book in a call through the website. It is there. Does mortgage reserved notification from lender essentially mean you have a mortgage we're porting? Essentially mean you have a mortgage we're porting. Mortgage reserved. That sounds like lender terminology. It might be nationwide. And when they say mortgage reserved, it means you've reserved the product. So reserve the rate for any additional borrowing. Very much depends on the the lender. Can you get a mortgage with a low credit score? It's not your credit score that's important. It's the content of your credit file. Need to know the reasons why. How much do you need for a deposit? How much do I need for a deposit? Do I need for 200k? At least 5%. Do you know much about own new mortgages and if the rates are much lower? Is that the scheme through developers? It's not a bit of a con. It's just the interest is still there. You're going to have a massive shock when you come off the initial rate. How do renovations work with a mortgage? Can you borrow more and get money cash to renovate? Not necessarily. A lender will only let you borrow what the house is worth, and they will have limitations in terms of loan to value per product. Staircasing is when you're on shared ownership and you buy more and more of the share as time goes on. Can you get with CCJ? Potentially. Bad credit mortgages, can you help? Yes, we can. Previous late payments on loans going to be a problem getting a mortgage? Will this be better time? So previous late payments on loans, it depends how they've been recorded. Are they just arrears, payment arrears? Did you catch up with them in the end? Or did they go down the route of being defaults or CCJs? If it's the latter, then of course it depends on the status of those defaults. If it's the former, in arrears, and you caught it up, then it shouldn't be a huge problem. But we still would have to match your situation, your credit situation, with certain lenders to make sure it's okay. 300 equity in my property. How much can I borrow? Depends how much income you've got to be able to afford. If I'm injured through football and can't pay my mortgage as I don't get sick pay, what can I do? Not much. This is a prime example why we also discuss protection, insurance, for when something like that happens, so that if you are sick and you can't work, your mortgage can still be paid. In this instance, you're pretty stuck. You're going to have to speak to your lender and see whether they'll give you any slack. If not, you could get into a bit of issue there. But that's a prime example of why we have insurance policies out there to guard against exactly that kind of thing. If I want you to do my remortgage due in May 25, when shall I engage you? 6 months before, Luke. 6 months before your current deal ends. I earn 50k a year. Could I get 200k mortgage with a 17k deposit? I have slightly bad credit. No, because that 17k is going to be... You're going to be looking at 5%, and then you're not going to be able to borrow enough. You're going to be a bit short. I'm a company director. Most of my salary is through dividends. Is that classed as income? Yeah, so for limited company directors, we look at your pay and dividends. So what's declared on your SA 302 form, your tax computations form, and that's what we use to work out your affordability. Can you get a payment holiday on your mortgage? Depends on the lender. Depends whether the lender will let you do it. Not all do. Depends on the conduct of your account as well. They may also only let you do it once. What insurance can I take out to prevent this with football? There's loads of insurance. So income protection is one of them. There's another policy called MetLife, which is very good. Book in a call and I can talk you through them if you want. Is it possible to get a mortgage? Yes. How many years records to provide when self-employed? At least one, ideally 2 or more. As an agency worker paid weekly, how many weeks pay slips do I need to get a mortgage? Agency worker will need 12 months worth of pay slips. Our house price is likely to rocket now interest rates are lower. I don't know. It's a supply and demand thing. So if the demand is there, then yeah, they could go up. I've seen lots of reports of people saying, yeah, there's loads of demand back, but now that interest rates have dropped, they haven't dropped. I mean, we've had a 0.25% decrease in the base rate, which doesn't necessarily affect fixed rates. So these news reports, they're just over glamorizing it. So yeah, can I use 2 mortgage advisors if they are free so I can compare the rates? There's no point. We all get access to the same rates. It's just down to the level of service. If you were using another mortgage advisor as well as us, I would tell the team to drop it and not waste their time, because what's the point? We all get the same rates. So how hard is it to buy a house after an IVA is finished? It's hard, but it gets easier. So as more time goes on, your options increase in terms of lenders and products, and therefore better rates. So as time goes on, it gets better. David, who's the mortgage provider you mentioned in your video earlier today? Is that the one about the rate reductions, the 3.78? That's nationwide, happening tomorrow. Is the stamp duty likely to remain above 300k? What do you mean, is the stamp duty likely to remain above? Do you mean the threshold? Dunno. Everything we're hearing is that there's going to be tax rises, tax grabs all over the place, and that is potentially one, so we'll have to wait and see. How accurate are AIPs normally? If you do it through a broker, I'll say they're quite good. Yeah. Do it yourself, it's like pissing in the wind. What percentage will I need on a concessionary purchase? Sometimes nothing. I mean, do you mean deposit-wise? With a concessionary purchase, sometimes nothing. The discount can class as a deposit. Is an agreement in principle any indication of your eligibility to get a mortgage? A little bit, yeah, because there are some searches that go into it, such as your credit file is checked, your ID is checked. So yeah, it's a rough indication, but only when it goes to full application and full underwriting do you get a proper response. Please, any advice on right to acquire? What advice do you need? I mean, it's there. It gives you a discount if you're eligible to it, and you may not have to put down a deposit. Currently coming up to my 2nd year of a 5-year fixed at 5. Worth switching? No, because you will have to pay an early repayment charge, and there's no way that it is viable to pay that to move to a cheaper rate, because the rate isn't cheap enough. Only if rates were massively dropped would it be worthwhile, and it's just simply not. Are you aware reductions came from Halifax for remortgage? Yes. They probably came in today, I think, Halifax existing customer. How do you go about switching my mortgage to a buy-to-let? So you need at least 25% equity in the property, and then it's just a case of remortgaging onto a buy-to-let product. What advice would you give to first-time buyer? Go to our website, Mellow Financial, and download the free first-time buyer's guide. But then feel free to book in a call with us, and we'll talk you through the whole process, explore how much you can borrow, how much deposit you need, and guide you through it. Now versus holding on to hope that interest rates drop. That's just crazy. Interest rates are not going back to 1 or 2%. So what are you waiting for? They have settled. They are relatively plateaued now. We are seeing very slight reductions. The longer you're waiting for nothing. You're waiting for something that's not going to happen. So just buy now. And also, the longer you wait, potentially, the more expensive house prices get. Therefore, the more deposit you're going to need, and the more you're going to have to borrow. So it's just going to get more expensive generally. Young people want houses but don't want to put in the work. Interesting. Are there many lenders who will lend on a concessionary purchase? Yes. For buy-to-let property, do you recommend buying a property at North or one property in South? I'm a mortgage advisor. I'm not a investment or guru. And again, would you fix for 2 or 5 years? I can't recommend that on TikTok, I'm afraid, because I don't know your full circumstances. I need to know that. So if you're a client, yeah, of course, I'll be able to recommend whatever, because I'd know your full situations. But I'm afraid on TikTok, I can't do it. Does total debt and monthly payment affect your affordability? Both, really. They're both put into the mix. What's the remortgage rates now? There's loads of them. Halifax rate drop you mentioned, was that mean it landed today with you or launched to the market? They should be out today. They should be out. Accord mortgages coming down. Accord were reducing their buy-to-let rates, yes. Any disadvantage of staff mortgage that you know of? Work for a mortgage lender? Well, hopefully they'll give you a discount. If you work for a mortgage lender, someone I know works for Lloyd's and they got a very good deal actually, so it could be worth it. Just explore whether there's any catches, any sort of loyalty. What happens if you stop working there? You know, explore all that kind of stuff. But generally, you should be right. Is your mortgage the amount I currently owe, or does house get valued when remortgaging? So it's the amount you currently own. That's the loan you took out. That doesn't increase. Hopefully, it doesn't increase. Well, it shouldn't. If you're on a repayment, it goes down. So yeah, the mortgage is the amount you owe. Does a high deposit mean better affordability? Not necessarily. Well, in a way, yes. Because generally, a higher deposit can give you a better rate. And therefore, the rate they stress test you at is lower. So it can lead to a little bit more affordability. But generally, the more deposit you put down, the better rate you get. I have paid off house. Can I mortgage it again to pull out money? And if so, how much? Yes, you can. Depends how much you can afford to borrow, how much your affordability stacks up. Hard to get a mortgage in a commission-based job. I'm in car sales. No, we just find a lender that takes all of commission into account. Different lenders operate differently. So some will take 50% of commission, but there are others who will take 100% of commission. We've then got to prove it. So we'll probably be asking for things like your P60, certainly the last 3 months pay slips showing your commission. But no, you should be all right. 70k income, 40k deposit. How much can I borrow? Times the 70 by 4.5. And that's roughly how much you can borrow. Can a person on universal credit get a mortgage? Yes, but whether it's enough for what you need is another matter. Does your actual job role affect affordability or just a salary? So in some instances, the job role can, because there are lenders who do what's called professional mortgages, whereby they will potentially allow 6 times your salary as affordability. So yeah, in some instances it can. Generally not though. First time buyer, 250k. Shall I put down 10% or 40k to get a mortgage cheaper? The more deposit you put down, the cheaper it is, because you don't have to borrow so much. After remortgage, is it better to increase mortgage term or stick on with where? Speak to your mortgage broker because they will know about your circumstances and they'll be able to advise on that. Do 6 missed payments on creation curries in 2023 stop me from getting a mortgage? It won't stop you getting a mortgage. It will very limit your choice of lenders and therefore products and rates. Yeah, that in 2023, it wasn't too long ago. So it would need to look at that. I think you'd still be able to get one. I missed a payment for, I don't know what that is. Why would anyone get a mortgage currently? Absolutely madness. Just a, okay, thanks, Daniel. Maybe they want to get a mortgage because they want to buy a house. Jealousy's an ugly monster. Can you buy as a new limited company or do you need to be established? So, buy-to-lets, you can buy from day one of setup of a limited company, yeah. Are there any lenders that are easy to qualify for a mortgage in your opinion? Um, well, yes, but if you've got a very clean credit file, they'll all be pretty much easy to apply to. Um, it should go straight through. For example, I've done a couple of applications with Halifax in the past, whereby they've been very clean credit files. We've put in the application, and it's gone to full mortgage offer within 24 hours. So yeah, that's very easy. Is it 5% deposit that's required? You can get a house with a 5% deposit. You will need a good credit file, though, in general. If I do transfer of equity to my mum on existing property, will it impact new mortgage? There's all kinds of implications involved in that. Any benefits to a 999 leasehold on a flat with no ground rent? Yeah, I mean, the leasehold isn't going to be an issue for when the lender look at it. Lenders tend to get a bit twitchy when the lease falls below 100 years remaining on it. So, yeah, you should be fine. Can you get a 99 or 100% mortgage or a couple that have 90k income? Yes, you can. Very tight criteria around it, so it's very specific for what it is. But there are options out there, whether it be 99 or 100% mortgage. But yes, you can. Would it be possible to get a mortgage without previously having a credit card? Yes, that's a myth. You do not need a credit card to get a mortgage. On 35k, partners on 25, how much can we borrow? Add it together, times it by 4.5. That's roughly how much you can borrow. Can I rent out rooms as a first-time buyer without permission? There's no clear information. I wouldn't. No, don't do that. Got a mortgage in principle, 5% deposit. Is it hard to be approved with full application? I would say, if you're using a broker, I would think that would be quite all right. If you've got the mortgage in principle, that's a good sign. So clearly your credit file appears to be adequate. So, yeah. I mean, it should be all right. Two of you, fine. Would you buy a property to rent out if the property only has 41 years lease left on it? You will struggle. You'll be very limited in lender choice. So, yeah. I just signed my deed. Could it go wrong now? What deed? The mortgage deed? I wouldn't have thought so. You should be all right. Do lenders continue to do checks after mortgage offer? Yeah, so they'll do a credit check before completion, because the last thing they want to happen is you get a mortgage offer and then go out and start racking up the debt, and the application is very different to when you applied. So yeah, they will check. Why shouldn't you rent out rooms? Because it can potentially be mortgage fraud. It's sort of skirting on the outside, because are you becoming a landlord? Are you doing like a backdoor buy to let? So, minimum credit score I need for mortgage. There isn't a minimum credit score. It's the content of a credit file, which is most important. I get 4.5 or 5 times salary. Which is it? It could be 5.5 times, depending on your situation, to be honest. It's worth speaking to an advisor, and they'll check out your affordability. Daniel, just fuck off, will you? Petty little man. No, it's just getting annoying. Your stupid little comments. I can't block Daniel while I'm using this software. Daniel, you're just being ignored and you're just pissing everyone off. So, what helps credit file? I want to get mortgage next year. So, paying everything on time. Pay everything on time. Don't get any CCJs, defaults, anything like that. So, like parking tickets, if you get a parking ticket, make sure you pay it. And then they should be all right. That's the surefire way to ruin a credit score, is to IVAs, defaults, missed payments, that kind of stuff. Specific times in the year when mortgage rates go up and down. They go up and down depending on the economy as a whole. So, how much money or how much it costs the lender to borrow the money in the first place, and interest rates. What's the CCJ? County Court Judgment. My mortgage is coming January 25. Loan to value is 88. Best rate I have is 5.49 from Bank of Ireland. Can I do better? I would suspect so, but again, I don't know your full circumstances behind it, so difficult to say. What do lenders look out for in bank statements? The main thing is they're making sure that your pay matches what's on your payslip and gets paid into there. They're looking for any large transactions which need explaining. They're checking for things like money laundering, any undeclared committed expenditure, that kind of stuff. Is credit check done on remortgage? If so, is it stringent? So a remortgage is pretty much just like a new application. So it's going to be the same as that. If you're thinking about a product transfer, then they generally wouldn't do a credit check. So it wouldn't apply. Does getting a car in finance 4 to 6 months before moving affect the mortgage application? Yeah, so if you've got a car in finance, it's classed as a committed expenditure. So the money you pay to that car finance each month can't be used to pay the mortgage, so it will affect affordability. What about too much shopping and takeaways? No, that's fine. So shopping and takeaways, you can control that, can't you? You could bring it under control if you needed to. So don't worry about that. It's the committed expenditure, that side of things. Can missed payment 3 months before mortgage application affect it? It can have an impact, yeah, because if that's not part of the lender's criteria, then yeah, it could cause a problem. What can you do about getting a mortgage if you have defaults? Are you best waiting? So, of course, you could wait. The defaults are going to be on the credit file for 6 years, though, so that's quite a long time. Or you just get in touch with a broker and they will match you with a lender who will accept that as part of their criteria. We need to know more details around defaults, such as are they satisfied or unsatisfied, how long ago they were, how much they were for, what were they for, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if they're there, get your check my file report and go from there. Give it to your broker and they'll assess it for you. Can I get a remortgage if the property has never had a mortgage in the first place? Yes. So that's what we call an unencumbered property. I have a 5-year fixed rate, 6.5. Can I renegotiate or get a new lender as my score is improved? You can't really renegotiate it, and the fact you're in a 5-year fixed, if you wanted to come out of that, you're going to face an early repayment charge. So it's not really going to be very beneficial. And to justify that from a compliance point of view, you're going to have to be moving to a massively decreased rate for it to be viable. Are there specific lenders for very valuable property, as in 5 million plus? Yes, there will be specialist lenders for that. I have a CCJ and a DRO that hits 6 years on my credit history next summer. Should I wait? I would, especially with the DRO. The DRO is the thing that's really going to hurt you there. Neighbour's house is derelict and charged against for care. Should I make under market offer? Do what you want. DRO is a debt relief order. What's the lowest rates now for remortgage? There's quite a few, and I wouldn't want to give a rate that's not suitable for you, so I can't tell you, but there's loads of them. No worries, Dean. Thank you. What should I do if my solicitors aren't communicating close to completion? So don't worry, because a lot of the solicitors' work you don't need to really be involved in. There is stuff going on behind the scenes, so there's toing and froing between both sides. So don't worry about it. They will contact you when there's something to contact you about. A lot of people think it's just nothing's happening, but rest assured it is. First time buyer, but girlfriend is. Does that mean there's a way around it? No, you'd lose any first time buyer benefits. Can I request my mortgage payment to come out on a specific date? Yes, you can. After sourcing a new rate, can I still change that if it hasn't kicked in yet? Yes. Just be careful towards the end though, like completion, because it does take a period of time to draw down the money. So I'd say probably at least 2 weeks before completion, you should be fine. Have you always been in mortgages? My background is financial services, insurance, and mortgages. If I move abroad for work, would it be cool to rent out my flat as a first time buyer? Right, so there's options there. You can contact your lender and see if they will give you consent to let. It may come with stipulations, like they might increase the interest rate a bit. It will really depend on how long you're going away for and how long they will let you have consent to let. Or you could investigate remortgaging onto a buy-to-let mortgage. Why's first time buyer? I'm not. We haven't been asked for stamp duty. Is that correct? Depends what the asking price of the house is. Does the solicitor know that you are not a first time buyer? Do you think NatWest will reduce like the bank you mentioned? Potentially, yeah. I'll keep an eye on it. Not had anything through from NatWest today. Let me just check. No, nothing there. Can you only get shared ownership scheme for first time buyer? No. You can get it if you're a second time buyer. Partner has 2 defaults and a score of 390. Will I be able to get a mortgage? So the score isn't the concern, it's the content of the credit file. So get a check my file report. There's a link in the TikTok bio where you can get a free one. What stage is my mortgage offer at if they are at valuation stage? Generally towards the back end. A lot of lenders tend to do the valuation last thing. So yeah, once that's done, they'll then assess it and see if it's worth it. If it all stacks up, then fingers crossed, you should be good to go. Is it possible to combine salary and business dividend income to renew mortgage? So in that instance, it sounds like you're a limited company director. So we will take pay and dividends. We prove that by using your SA 302 form, which is your tax computations, and then we use that figure. I've saved around 20k. Should I invest in a... Who? Right. Why? What's the matter? When did this start? £20 bets on football a week. Okay, yeah, should be alright. If your salary is less than it used to be when remortgaging, will the bank reject another term? If you're doing a product transfer, it probably won't be an issue. If you're looking to remortgage, then the affordability might be affected. Do brokers use Experian to check? No. Well, we'll ask you to provide your check my file report, because that reports on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So, yeah. We're due to complete in the next 4 weeks, and the rate has dropped from our initial application. In the next 4 weeks, crack on with that now, and you might get away with it. Is it worth reapplying at a lower rate? If you can get it through before completion. I have some deposit to buy another house, but I'm 8 months into existing mortgage. Is it possible? So, when you talk about buying another house, are you looking to buy, like, sell your existing one and move, or are you looking to buy an additional property to rent out or something? If it's an additional broker, then you should be fine. Fixed rate ends in 12 months. Can I discuss a new rate early? No point. Wait till... There's no point doing it that, because again, you'll still have an early repayment charge. So wait till 6 months before your deal ends, and then get in touch and look at your options. I'm a first time buyer with a flat right to acquire, 30k per annum. Can I get a mortgage? Yeah, so get your 30k per annum, times it by 4.5, and then does that equate to how much you need to buy the property at a discount? What do you think fixed rates will be in June 25, roughly? Crikey. Um, I think consensus from what I've read is they're generally going to settle about 3.5 to 4.5%. It's going to vary depending on loan to values and obviously what type of fix you're going for, whether it's 2 or 5, that for example 7, whatever. But I think 3.5, 4.5 is what some people are saying. I've saved around 20k. Should I invest in a property Leeds Bradford area? I'm a first time buyer. If that's where you live and work, then that would make sense. 5% deposit schemes still available for first time buyers. It's not a scheme, they're products. So they're 95% loan to value products. Do. Looking to move as soon as possible, not a big deposit, but first time buyer. What's best? Well, when you say not a big deposit, what are you talking? What sort of deposit am I? If it's 5% of the asking price, then you could be all right. So I would suggest getting in touch and assess your affordability. Around 5%. Okay, so 5%. Yeah, if you've got a decent credit file, then you should be all right. Would you it's better to suffer early with a big deposit? What do you mean suffer early? The more deposit you put down, the less you have to borrow, and therefore the less you'll be paying. So, oh, thought so. What do you mean by suffer? Right, how long have we been doing this? It's 46 minutes. It's time to go, I think, because I have an ill daughter that is in the next room, so we need to go sort that out. Is it normal for a property search to take 3 weeks? Yes. Yes. Can I take a 1-year residential mortgage and remortgage to buy to let? 1-year residential mortgage. Yeah, you could go onto a tracker and then remortgage to buy to let. Yeah, but you're obviously going to need the equity there for the buy to let. Do you have to give a deposit to the remaining shares? Do you have to give deposit to buy the remaining shares? You can. Daniel, why don't you just fuck off and go into a hole and get swallowed up? So if you aren't following, then click the button at the top of the screen. No, you can't transfer a residential to buy to let. Didn't ask that question, did he, Daniel, you dickhead? They asked if they could remortgage to a buy to let. So, hit the follow button if you're not following already. If you would like to book in a call, feel free to do so using the website, or there is a link in the bio where you can book in a call, or just go through the website and you'll be able to book in with one of us. And yeah, we shall speak to you soon. Very rude, bit rich. You book in a call, Daniel. I'd love to speak to you. That'd be very good. Like to know. Yeah, Daniel, do it. Do it. Book in a call. In fact, Daniel, put your phone number in here and I'll give you a call now. Or give me a call now, actually, Daniel. I shall await your call. Oh, you're running off now, scared little boy. See you, Daniel. Feel free to give me a call, Daniel, if you want a proper chat. Rather than just being a keyboard warrior troll that you are. Thank you, Elle. Can you look at my last message? Which one was that? Sorry. Spoke to me before. No, you haven't. No, you haven't, Daniel. You absolute gimp. I'm black. I'm blacklisted with. I'm not blacklisted with any lenders. You absolute tool. You know nothing. What an idiot. Anyway, it is time to go. Because we're going to do some investigations into Daniel and sort him out. So I can't block him using this software, unfortunately. I would normally love to block him, but I can't do it. So ABC, feel free to book in a call using the link in the bio, or go through the website, or send me a message in the DMs, and I'll get back to you. Daniel still lives with his parents. Thank you. Yeah, just everyone report his everyone report Daniel's account because he's clearly just an absolute troll. Can someone get a buy-to-let mortgage to first-time buyer? Yeah, first-time buyer, first-time landlord. Yes, you can. Please answer my sorry. If I'm locked in a 5... Oh, sorry, it's gone up there. Let me have a look. If I'm locked in 5 years, can I backdate my 10% allowed to pay for additional? No, there's no backdating. You've been aggressive to me, sir. Oh, Daniel. Oh, Daniel, what have you been doing the whole time? Based in Bristol, but we work with clients all over the UK. It's having to stamp duty break next year. What's the impact? So, yeah, potentially stamp duty threshold is going to 300,000 from the 425 it currently is for first-time buyers. So if you're buying property over the 300,000 mark, you could end up paying the stamp duty there. So something to keep an eye on, see what happens with it. There is a chance it may be extended, but we'll have to wait and see. When do you think interest rates will drop? Drop is a big word. They're slowly declining. They're doing it now. On fixed rates, they're slowly coming down. If you're talking Bank of England base rate, I don't think it's going to happen. Next month. It might be after that, but inflation has gone up a little bit. What do you say about stamp duty? Mike, look at my video from a couple of days ago. The current stamp duty threshold for first-time buyers is 425,000, but from the 1st of April 2025, it's going to come down to 300,000. That's the current situation. It was a Tory thing. I think Liz Truss actually put it in place. Always designed to be temporary. It was always designed to be a temporary thing. But that is now coming to an end on the 31st of March 2025. So if you are buying a property over 300,000 and it's going to complete after the 31st of March 2025, you will end up paying stamp duty. It's not a Labour thing. It's actually a Tory thing, and the deadline, it was always going to end. It's not a Labour thing. We just have to wait and see whether Labour carry it on or they stop it. My wife sold an agricultural land abroad a long time. Crikey, that's a question. Can't say. I know, I'm afraid. Best place to learn about buying and selling properties? I don't know. I can't do that. How old was I when I had my first property? We were about 28, I think. Yeah, possibly 28. Right, anyway, I do have to go now. So book in a call if you want to get in touch. Do feel free. The link is in the bio. Hopefully it is working. But yeah, we shall speak to you then if you want to book and call. And don't forget to follow. How old am I? 41. Yes. The years have not been kind. Yes, don't forget to follow, and I wish you all a pleasant evening, unless you're Daniel, because Daniel's a dickhead. So, until next time, take care, and don't forget to follow, because I'll be about more. Toodaloo!